I like to think that I'm okay when it comes to shooting B-roll. I've shot a few videos and put B-roll over the top and stuff, so in this video I want to show you 2 different ways that you can shoot your B-roll over your talking head pieces, so that if you just do a lot of explainer videos or tutorials or anything like that, then you can just make them a bit more engaging by having B-roll over the top as well. The first way that you can shoot your B-roll is actually by shooting a sequence. So if you're talking about something or you're explaining something, whatever you're talking about or whatever you're explaining is most likely, most of the time, going to have a process or a sequence. So for example, if I was going to be talking about setting up my gear in my office, I could actually show you that sequence. So this sequence is an example of what I'm talking about. I could be talking about this light, why I bought it, the specs about it, how I'm going to use it, and instead of just talking at you, I'm showing you the sequence over the top. And it also works for me talking about the sequence, because I'm talking about a sequence and showing you a sequence. So one of the things that you can also do with the sequence is not just show it all in its entirety, because this sequence only lasts about a minute. You could actually break it up so that you show part of the sequence and then show some talking head bit, and then show some more of the sequence, show some talking head bit. So if you don't have enough B-roll or enough of a sequence, that's one way of getting around it. The other thing is creating several different sequences. So yeah, that's just an example. And the same thing applies for a lot of things. So for example, if you do makeup videos or you do food videos, anything like that, if you have a process that you have to go through, you can film that entire process as a sequence. In filming your sequence, there are 2 ways that you can do it. You can either use a multi-camera setup, or you can just use a single camera. And I will go into more detail for that in another video. For the second method, this is going to be more of a show and tell. So whilst you're explaining something or you're talking about something in particular, you can show what you're talking about at that very moment. So for example, again, if I was talking about gear and setting up gear, then I would have my talking headpiece and then I would overlay B-roll at certain points rather than just showing an entire sequence. So I'll show you what I mean by that. Having the creator combo means that you can use the wireless transmitter, and it comes with a furry windshield as well. You can also use a lav mic, which you can put a furry windshield on, or you can use a shotgun mic, which you can also attach a furry windshield. And this is how I predominantly use the Pocket 2. I'll rig it up with my phone and an external. So if you see with that method, I was talking about setting up my gear and I was showing you each individual item as I was talking about it. So that's just another way that you can do it. And you can, if you wanted to make the B-roll a bit longer, like each B-roll clip longer, then you could just show that specific item from different angles and different focal lengths, that kind of thing. But again, something that I'll go through in the next video. But if you're talking about something that you can't necessarily film B-roll for, then using stock footage is going to be the next best thing. And I've used stock footage in my videos before where I've talked about going traveling somewhere and I haven't been there, or talked about some kind of food or something. You'll see it in some of my other videos. So I have used stock footage in place of those things rather than just having me talking to the camera. And the other way, if you can't necessarily include stock footage, this isn't really B-roll, but it's still kind of related, is to use motion graphics. So using motion graphics is another great way to just break up your talking headpiece. So if all you did was explain something which you couldn't actually film, but you included motion graphics in that video, that would still break up the whole talking headpiece and make it more engaging. So I hope that made sense and it wasn't too confusing, but in another video I will talk to you about the whole single camera setup, multi-camera setup, and how to actually go about shooting those sequences. And then in a follow-up video I'll also talk about 5 different shots that will make your B-roll even more interesting to watch. So do like this video if you found it useful, and subscribe so that you can see those other videos. But thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.